Finally, I am all caught up. This is the video for today, Tuesday. And there is a book called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Famous book. And we're going to learn a little bit from it. So first of all, women need to receive caring, understanding, respect, devotion, validation, and reassurance. And we're not saying that men and women both don't need to receive this, but we're saying this is more important. So men need to receive trust, acceptance, appreciation, admiration, approval, and encouragement. We would even say that if these were all listed randomly and you had a bunch of men, a bunch of women choosing, on average, more men would say this is what they wanted, what they needed from the list. Again, women, caring, understanding, respect, devotion, validation, and reassurance. Men, trust, acceptance, appreciation, admiration, approval, encouragement. When a man says, I'm okay, it's fine, or I'm okay, it's okay, I'm fine, it's fine, I'm all right, it's all right, it's nothing, it's no problem, it's no big deal. A woman might misinterpret, even unnecessarily panic, that he's not letting her help or telling her what's wrong or going on, but he's actually indicating he wants some acceptance or space. So how do you give up on changing a man? What she needs to remember is don't ask too many questions. That he will, when he's upset, or he'll feel you're trying to change him. And trust him to grow on his own. Honestly share feelings, but without demanding that he continue, that he change. Give up on trying to change him in any way. He needs your love to grow, not rejection. When you offer unsolicited advice, he may feel mistrusted, controlled, or rejected. But what you could do is ignore that he's upset unless he wants to talk to you about it. Show some initial concern, but not too much, as an invitation to talk. Men really argue for the right to be free, while women might argue for the right to be upset, because men want space, often while the woman wants the understanding. So, trust that the man, when you want him to change, practice patience and trust that he'll learn on his own what he needs to learn. Wait till he asks you for advice. When a man becomes stubborn and resists change, he's not feeling loved. He's afraid to admit his mistakes and for fear of not being loved. If you make sacrifices hoping he'll do the same for you, he'll feel pressured to change. If you share negative feelings without trying to change him, if you can, when he feels accepted, it's easier for him to listen. You could practice showing him he doesn't need to be perfect to deserve your love. Practice forgiveness and practice, doing things for yourself, not depending on him to make you happy. Practice when sharing feelings, you let him know that you're not trying to tell him what to do, but that you want him to take your feelings into consideration. Men might pull away when they feel to fulfill the need for independence and autonomy. After this, he'll automatically come back to you with more love for you. It's a natural cycle. He needs to pull away before he could get closer. Women pull away for different reasons. Whether it's understanding or trust or compassion or acceptance and support. These are all parts of the solution. But blaming others is not part of the solution. So a man could be compassionate and offer his support, even if she doesn't ask for it. Listen to her, even if at first it sounds like blame. A man could help her to trust him, to open up to, by doing little things for her to show that he cares. Instead of blaming a man for giving less, a woman could accept and forgive her partner's imperfections, especially when he disappoints her. Trust that he wants to give more when he doesn't offer his support. Encourage him to give more by appreciating what he does give. And there's a Instagram account called Dean Blackfield. He says, overwhelm. In terms of avoidant attachers, it might seem like a big jump, but I feel like some people become, like, basically somebody becomes avoidant of attachment, not because they don't feel anything, but because it's too much for them. Ironic, like even getting acceptance and all that, like being in a relationship is too much. So they leave because, you know, it looks like when they move on, like they never cared, but it's because they cared so much that it's because they care that they have to leave. So they have a fear of love, because people who love them the most are the ones who scare them the most. Real love requires surrender. Real love breaks defenses. Real love makes one vulnerable. So they give up the love that they crave for the illusion of safety. And old wounds, where their fear is not about you. You were the spark that set off what was already there, and they learned in childhood that closeness meant pain. So even when they feel safe with you, their whole body screams danger, that love is a trap, because what feels secure to you feels suffocating to an avoidant attacher. Needs feel like demands, affection feels like pressure, and being loved feels like a cage they have to escape. And Margaret Naguib on she reminds us that often these things, why does somebody avoid attachment? Because of body issues. So let's say they have something in their pelvis or low belly. She says that's where unprocessed experiences of violation, intrusion, emotional enmeshment may live. Missing healthy boundaries or safe touch. Also, it's the seat of creativity, life force, sensuality, which is where, like, the person might have been shamed, and so it's like cut off in a way. And I remember when I was going into this part of myself, I was writing a note to someone. Now, I'm not saying it was all him. His name is Aaron, but it wasn't all to him. It was just that I was knowing him while I was working with this. I mean, I was involved with him while I was working with this, but I wrote to him a note. When you undermine when I'm just being me existing, and fault-finding and insulting seem to be your default settings. Maybe start with yourself, praising yourself more, commending yourself more in your progress and accomplishments, and then praise others. And then there's somebody on Instagram also who said something, what did she write? That he bloomed. He got tired of feeling like the villain in every fight. She numbed. She got tired of explaining pain that never changed anything. He made walls. He kept his walls up, afraid of being weak. And she had wounds. She kept breaking, afraid of not being worth fighting for. Finally, last but not least, in the Zohar in parsha chukat, it says that some people have died and received their punishment twice. They're considered like refined silver that entered the oven once or twice and has had the impurities sorted out, picked clean. In koheles 4:2, it says, I praise the dead who have already died more than the living who are still alive. So in the Zohar it says, and the spirit that remains above and is restrained from coming down, since that one is still in its original state and doesn't need to receive punishment and obtains sustenance from that sustenance that's up very high. And then another quote from Koheles 4:2 is, better than both of them is he who has not yet been. So let that land where it may. All right.